बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम अली अल्लाह मदद फरमा। या मुश्किल कुशा मेहरबान मौला मदद फरमा, मदद फरमा। Ya Mawla Meherban, we all have gathered here, Mawla, to understand the pearls of wisdom you give us in your Faramins, Mawla. Ya Mawla Meherban, Ya Mushkil Kusha Meherban, Mawla. It is not our ability, it is not us that who can explain or understand it, Mawla. It is all due to you and your mercy, Mawla. So we seek your help, Mawla. Ya Mawla, be the light on the tongue, Mawla. Be the light in the heart, Mawla. Ya Mawla, be the light in the ears, Mawla. Ya Mawla Meherban, Ya Mawla Meherban. We are truly blessed to be here, Mawla, sitting comfortably in our homes and listening to this Faramins and understanding it, Mawla. The world, when we hear about it, Mawla. Ya Mawla, there is wars and there is difficulties and whatnot going on, Mawla. Ya Mawla Meherban, we seek your mercy, Mawla. We seek your protection. We seek your Aman, Mawla. We pray for whole Ismaili Jama'at, global Ismaili Jama'at and humanity, Mawla, that you are our sovereign Lord, Mawla. Ya Mawla. Ya Mawla Meherban, please bring peace to humanity, Mawla. Ya Mawla. Ya Mawla. It is your mercy, Mawla. It is your mercy, Mawla, that we are able to pray for others, Mawla. We have this understanding, Mawla. Ya Mawla, let us have this pain in our heart for humanity and the global Jamaat and pray for all, Mawla, to have peace and to have security, Mawla. Ya Mawla Meherban, Ya Mawla Meherban. Today, whatever we learn, all the blessings, Mawla. Ya Mawla, all the happiness we get Mawla, from this session, Mawla, make it as, Mawla, prayers for all those who are in difficulties, Mawla. Ya Mawla, Ya Mawla, we truly pray for your protection, Mawla. Ya Mawla, Ya Mawla Meherban, bring peace and prosperity to humanity and global Jamaat, Mawla. Do not test us, Mawla. Ya Mawla Meherban, Ya Mushkil Kusha Meherban, Madad Farma, Madad Farma, Madad Farma. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My dear friends, Ya Ali Madad. It's just that I was listening to some news this morning and it is heartbreaking to realize what is happening. And we truly need to be united in praying for humanity and the global Jamaat, that he, as Mushkil Kusha, Mushkil Asan for all. Ameen. Today we start a new Farman, Farman number 14, Munjamri, December 20th, 1893. हक मौलाना धनी सलामत दातार सरकार का सुल्तान मोहम्मद शाह हाजिरी मामे फरमावियों सलवात अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मदिन व आले मुहम्मद. તમે કાઠિયાવાડની જમાતો ઘણી છેટેથી બાળ બચ્ચા સહિત આવ્યા છો, જેથી ઘણા હેરાન થયા હશો, પણ ભલે આવ્યા. આગળ અમારા દાદાએ ફરમાવ્યું હતું, જેથી અમે આવ્યા છીએ, અને તમે જમાત પણ ભલે આવ્યા. તમે મુંજવણીમાં આવ્યા તે પહેલા અહીં કાંઈ પણ નહીં હતું, જંગલ હતું. આજે તમામ ખલકત ભેડી થઈ છે. તેમાં તમારી સાથે નાના બચ્ચા, જેમાં 6-7 દિવસના તથા માસ બે માસના, અગર 7-8 વર્ષના પણ હશે, તેમજ 80 વર્ષના ગડા પણ હશે. તેઓને ટાઢ પણ પડી હશે. તમારા પગ ઉઘડા હશે. તમે ઘણી છેટેથી આવ્યા છો, તો ભલે આવ્યા. ખાના બધા. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. So let us first paraphrase it in English so we understand what Maula is telling us. So this is, it seems like that when Maula was in Manjari, Jama'at from Kathiawar, India, they all had traveled to reach to Manjari. So Imam is speaking to them and saying that you all, Jama'at, have come from Kathiawar and you have come from far. And it is not that you all have come alone as adults, but you brought your children as well. And due to that, you must have had a lot of difficulties, Heran thiya, meaning that you had faced difficulties. It was a difficult journey, challenging journey. But Imam says, Bhale aagya, meaning that I am glad that you came. It was better that you came. It was good that you came. And he says that in the past, my grandfather had told you, given you Farman, and due to that, I have also come. And let's paraphrase and then we'll discuss the whole Farman. Tame Munjavri ma avya te pehla, and then Mola says that you all have come to Munjavri. Now, when Mola is starting this paragraph, then we are able to understand that it's not that they just traveled for the Didar, but they had migrated actually, kind of, from Kathiawar to Munjavri. And when they had come to Munjavri, that place was like a jungle. There was nothing, no people, nothing was there. It was like wild jungle kind of place, right? And Imam then says that today, the whole creation, tamam khalqat, the whole creation has got together here, including young children. And then Imam mentions that young children like 6 days old or 7 days old or few months old or few years old, and then even 80 years old, all of you have gathered here. And when you have gathered here, then you must have felt, the cold, winter cold, right? And then he says that your feet would be hurting as well. You have come from very far. I'm glad that you have come. And he says, Khana Vadan. So there are, different levels of, people who have come, probably some who had migrated because there was nothing in Manjari, but now there is population, there is growth, and then there are some who had traveled. So it's kind of, Imam is talking to everybody. But it's a very small farman, seemingly like there is simply Imam is speaking to the Jama'at who actually traveled or settled there, or who just traveled to have the Didar, and that is it. But Imam is speaking. Imam's words are full of wisdom. And if we were to look at, the Farmans, which we have studied, today we are studying the 14th Farman, all 13 Farmans, what we had learned, lessons of history. Imam is speaking about Quranic verses, Quranic stories, but actually it's all verses he's talking about. He is speaking about hadith of the Prophet. So we have realized, in fact, in the first Farman, he also speaks about the time of resurrection, the end time, Qiyamah. So Imam's Farman, by this time, we have understood that it is all allegories, and the pearls of wisdoms are hidden in these Faramins, and we really have to reflect, relate, and deep dive into it to understand what is Imam telling us. So this Farman seemingly very small and there is not much. But I would say, let's pick up two key concepts. If you were to really think about it, there's a lot more. But the two things, number one, Imam says that you must have faced challenges to come here, but I'm glad that you came. The word challenge, difficulties, presents a concept to us. And what is that concept? That concept is of sacrifice, Qurban. In order to have the Didar, in order to have, Imam's closeness, there is a need for sacrifice, Qurbani. And Imam says, I realize that you would have faced difficulty, and I understand, I know that, but I'm glad that you came. Imam is encouraging us to sacrifice. Because without sacrifice, this Jama'at could not have the didar of Imam. They could not listen to the Farman of Imam. And then those who, due to the Hidayat guidance of Imam, had probably living now in Germany, there was nothing, jungle. And now he says that the whole creation is gathered here. Whole creation? How? In one place? But Imam is saying that. So we can understand all these key words, and it seems that there is much more. And then, another thing is different ages. Why does Imam had to speak that, there are 6 days old, 7 days old, few months and few years and 8 years? Why? What was the need? Because Imam is teaching us through the words of wisdom. And if this one is very easy, so we can talk about it. When Imam speaks about different ages, it is actually talking about different levels, stages in Ruhaniyat. Mu'minins are there. Everybody is Mu'min. But physically referring to different ages, but alluding to different levels of Ruhaniyat. Everybody is there, and Imam says, I'm glad that you came. So if we were to pick a few key concepts and discuss that in detail, we would realize when Imam says that there was nothing, la, nothing, we all know there was nothing meaning la. And that term, that understanding, we all know that comes from the time when there was nothing. And now the whole khalqat, Imam says, it's present. So Imam is referring to the time, the time where there was no creation, meaning it was la, nothing. What became? When there was nothing, what came? Amre kun, Kalam-i Bari. And we all know that when we say Kalam-i Bari, it is the command of kun, which is mentioned in Quran. Khuda said, be, and it became. What became? The first creation which came from Kalam-i Bari is actually universal intellect. And when I say universal intellect, we are talking about Hudud-e-Din, different levels, different stages, different ranks. So universal intellect. Now, that is pure intellect. Still, there is no creation as per se. Universal intellect creates universal soul, nafs-e-kul. It is that nafs-e-kul which creates the whole creation. The biggest miracle of our Lord, Almighty Lord, is actually to create nafs-e-kul. Because it is through nafs-e-kul the whole creation has come into existence. We all have come from Him. Inna Allahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. We all have come from Him, and we have to return back to Him. Coming from Him, what? Who? How? We are referring to universal soul, nafs-e-kul. We all have come from nafs-e-kul, and we have to all return back to it. But what has happened from that oneness, the stage of oneness, universal soul, multitude of souls were created. The world of creation came into being. So the world of command, the Amre Kun, created the world of creation. And we all are here. 80 years old, 6 days old, 6 days old, few months old, few years old. Different ages. But remember, here we are talking about wisdom, the ta'wil. And what it helps us understand that there are different levels of spirituality. Everyone is bestowed, every human is bestowed with intellect, but that intellect is partial intellect, aql naqis. It is only the universal intellect which is complete intellect. When we talk of Hudud-e-Din, Hudud-e-Din level starts from universal intellect, universal soul, Natik, Asas, Imam, Bab, Hujjat, Dai, Mazun, Mustajib. The first stage is Mustajib. Mustajib is the one who is the student. meaning who says that I want to learn about spirituality. So journey begins from Mustajib. Mustajib is the one who realizes that I have partial intellect and I need to return back to that source where I come from, which is universal soul. The biggest miracle is that he created universal soul. Universal soul like a dot. Now this dot has made a whole creation. And when I say dot, we can relate to this saying of Maula Ali, that he says that we do know that the essence of Quran is in the first chapter, Surah Fatiha. But the essence of Surah Fatiha is in Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. But the essence of Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim is in the first alphabet, which is Ba. Then Maula Ali says, the essence is in the dot, which is under the word alphabet Ba. So the dot, everything is encompassed within that dot because that is Imam. Now that dot has created the whole Quran because it is the dot. Dot, dot, dot makes the word, right? So in reality, when we look at one thing, one tiny thing, a dot, it is in that dot that the whole alphabets or essays or Quran or Farman, everything which we write, right? I'm referring to writing as per se. It is hidden in that dot. Similarly, when we are trying to understand this concept of Hudud-e-Din, that universal intellect created this universal soul, which is like one entity, one dot. But through that dot, the whole creation has come into being. And with, books of our Buzurgwar-e-Din, we understand that when this creation came into being, there are ranks. The whole humanity is there. Whole Jama'at is there. Everybody is Momin. But Momin has to become a Mustajib to realize that, oh, I have the partial intellect and I have to return back to that complete intellect. And I can only do that by being with Nafse-Kul. Because Nafse-Kul becomes one with Aqle-Kul. Now, when we talk about all these ranks, hudud, Imam, the way we say it in our dua, chapter 36, verse 12, وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ أَحْصَيْنَاهُ فِي إِمَامٍ مُبِينٍ. Everything is encompassed. Everything is encompassed within Imam, the manifest Imam. So everything is in Shakari. All the hudud is in Shakari. He is universal intellect. He is universal soul. And through him, the creation has came into existence. Humanity realized it or not, but we do know that he is the sovereign Lord. Those who realize that they have partial intellect and they need to study knowledge to be able to understand the wisdom, they actually intentionally, with their commitment, with their free will, start the journey of becoming a student, meaning Mustajib. And then we continue to go further depending on our Qurbani. Bhale Abia. It was difficult, it was challenging. I'm glad that you came. So those who are on the journey of learning, meaning this path is not easy. Hazrat Imam says that I want you to study Quran and learn Quran from those who have learned it, and it takes years to study the Quran. Years. It doesn't come easy. Nothing comes in this world easy. Everybody has to work hard. Similarly, this journey also requires Qurbani, sacrifice. And Imam is encouraging. I'm glad that you did that. Why? What did this Qurbani resulted in? To be present in the court of Imam, in front of the Imam, to be with Imam. Tell me, do we not want that? We all want that. What is the key? The path is sacrifice, Qurbani. Without Qurbani, there is no way we can get close to Imam. Take any example. Simply, let's start with our ibadat, our Baitul Khayal ibadat, because that's very important practice. Without that, there is no practice. So again, I'm saying knowledge, without that there is no progress, and then ibadat, there is no progress. We have to realize that as humans, we have two hands, two eyes, two ears. To balance us out, we need two things, two legs. One leg cannot walk. We need something to assist us to be able to walk. Similarly, we need our Ism-e-Azam, ibadat, and our knowledge to help us walk on the journey. If somebody is, let's say, God forbid, disabled or had an accident or something, they're walking on one leg, how difficult that is? How difficult it is, and how long it will take for them to, pass the distance a normal person can walk with two legs. Same is the case. If somebody focuses on only knowledge, that will take that person to vanity. If somebody only works on ibadat, they will have no progress because they don't even know how to understand the nur, how to understand the Ruhani communication, because they don't have the knowledge. So we need both the legs, meaning to be able to walk, ibadat of Ism-e-Azam and knowledge. Then that sacrifice will bear fruits. Otherwise, we will not see the fruit. And that is why we see many a times when we discuss among friends in general classes, there is lack of satisfaction. There is unhappiness, despite of being born in Ismaili Tariqa, despite of having Ism-e-Azam, there is unhappiness. Why? Because there is lack of knowledge. So those who have Ism-e-Azam but they do not seek knowledge, doesn't help them. And then those who become very interested in knowledge and do not focus on zikr and girya uzari, doesn't help them. So it has to be a balanced journey of sacrifices. Not just sacrifices. Why? Because when we are saying that we will sacrifice our sleep to wake up in ibadat, that's one sacrifice. Physically going to Jama'at Khana, second sacrifice. And so on. So many sacrifices. To be able to attend knowledge class, ilm class, it's a sacrifice. But then to read before and to reflect after, that's another sacrifice. So what am I saying here? Do not be happy with one sacrifice. Because for Mu'min, they need to make lots of sacrifices to be able to walk further in this journey. So in this Farman, when Imam is saying that there was nothing, it was as if there was nothing, right? From La came Amr Kun, and then we have universal intellect, universal soul, and then universal soul created the whole khalqat, the world of creation, right? From the world of command came world of creation. And we are those creation. Very, very, privileged, blessed, being born and as a Ismailis with Imam. And then what we are learning in this Farman, the way Imam says that all different ages, meaning all different levels of Ruhaniyat is there. Those who are serious seekers will realize that they cannot be lazy. They cannot procrastinate. We have to take this challenge up front and become serious to walk on the path. Until we don't walk on this path, becoming serious, all these pearls of wisdom in very small Farman, we will not gain it. And I don't think today, when we do, speak for 1 hour and understand with all question and answer, we can do justice to this Farman. I honestly say that we cannot, because there is so much. Think of a pearl. Pearl, the example of pearl, a diamond, a pearl, is as if that when you look at pearl from different angles, it gives you different beauty. Diamond, the way it shines from every angle. the example of knowledge is such that we are looking at a diamond, and whoever is looking at from whatever angle, they are seeing that much. But what if we were to able to see the whole diamond step by step and to be able to see the whole picture? That is what it means. That when we talk about, say, let's say Quran, it's a thick, big book, 30 sections, 6,666 verses. But the essence is in the dot. Dot I can stare and I can look at. It will not help me learn anything. It's just a dot. But Imam says it's a dot. Meaning, we have to work hard using our partial intellect to unfold that dot into seeing the words and the sentences. First, what was revealed, revelation, and then what is the ta'wil. One of the title of Imam is Mubin Qur'an. He is the teacher of the Quran. And he is teaching us. Are we listening to it? Now, when we say that, yes, he gives us Farman and the peers have given us the gist of Quran, so we know all Quran. But in reality, our peers, Faramins of our Imam, they're very concise. Actually, they are very concise. Why? Because they are speaking from the place where they have knowledge. Our peers have merged with Imam. They speak from the place of wisdom. Us, with partial intellect, we first need knowledge to be able to understand the wisdom. Wisdom is a higher fruit. If we don't even have knowledge, we can read through books and books and books and not understand what is being told to us. So the most important lesson in all this is sacrifice. If we do not sacrifice, we will not understand that Imam in this Farman is talking about world of command, creating the world of creation. He is asking us to sacrifice. Be obedient to his Faramin by sacrificing. Because how do you obey? Obedient or obeying actually relates to actions. What actions have we taken upon ourselves committedly, willingly, seriously, to be able to have those results that we are seeking? Now, when we look at this example Imam is giving us, that there are some who are 6 days old, and there are some few months, few years, and 80 years. And now after 80 years, we do know, maximum 100 years, a person will die. So where we started from nowhere, like there was nothing, creation came into being, and then again there is death. So what we are saying, there was a birth and then there is a death. It refers to a beginning and end, metaphorically, right? It relates to a cycle of creation, and then it being folded in the time of Qiyamah. Because Imam announced in the first Farman, it is the time of Qiyamah. We will have to understand that when there was nothing and the world was created, and in this creation, we as humans needed guidance, reminder, warning, all that actions, because we are forgetful as humans, right? It is known that as humans, we forget, we are forgetful. And we need to be reminded, we need to remember, to recall what we've forgotten. To help us, Khuda Ta'ala says in Quran that I've created this world in 6 days. Very interestingly, it took him 6 days to create the world. On the other hand, he says that I am the Lord of Kun. I say Kun and it becomes. Why did it take 6 days? Again, it doesn't make sense logically. Whenever we see Imam's Farman, there is no logic. Imam is teaching us, hiding something for us to kind of find out. How do we find out? Treasure, if we are seeking the treasure, Imam is giving us the clue. And we have to seek that treasure. And how do you seek that treasure? Through sacrifice. By striving hard to find out what does it mean, Mullah, On one hand, you created the whole world. There was nothing, and the world, the whole Khalqat is gathered here. And you are the Malik of Kun Fayakun. Why did it take you 6 days to create this world? And when we study the books, then what we learn that one day of Allah is equals to 1,000 years. It says in the Quran that one day of Allah is 1,000 human years. So it took him 6,000 years to create this world. But then this world is millions and trillions years old. It is not just 6,000 years old. So it doesn't make sense. All these are questions which we come across when we continue to reflect and seek knowledge. Khuda Ta'ala refers to one day of creation, alluding to the role of Natik. Now, those who are English speakers, this term may be new, Natik. But Natik means, it refers to Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, Hazrat Noah alayhi salam, Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, and Prophet Muhammad. These 6 personalities are 6 Natik, plural Natikan. But in English, we call them prophets. And when we take the term prophet, we do know that there were 124,000 prophets. So how do we distinguish between 124,000 prophets and these 6 Natik? Because there's a difference in the rank. There's a difference in the role. So when Allah says that He created this world in 6 days, He's referring to Natik. Natik is that Paigambar who is bringing the message to the world. And the prophets, in English it's hard to say, right? Because everything is prophet or messenger. There are Paigambars and then there are Natik. So Natik are only 6. And if we start sequence, Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam, Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, Hazrat Isa, and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. These are 6 days of Allah. So Allah, it doesn't take Him 6 days. The 6 days are actually for us, for the creation, for the world of humanity, to understand and to grow in this religion of Islam, which started from the day 1 with Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, Deen Haq. And from Deen Haq, we see that when we read the books of our Buzurgwar Deen, we find out that there was Adam from Sri Lanka, whose name was Takhum bin Bajla. Adam came, then Hazrat Noah alayhi salam came, Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam came, Hazrat Musa alayhi salam came, Hazrat Isa alayhi salam came, and then Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam came. And it is during the last Hajj, after the last Hajj, which we studied in the last Farman, that Paigambar at the station of Gadir Kum announces the Imamat. In Zahurat of Imam started with Maula Ali. Not that Imam were not there before that time. Without Imam, this world would not last. So Imam was there in every and any point in time. But the Zahurat happened in the time of Maula Ali. Very interestingly, in Quran, He says, Allah Ta'ala says that I created this world in 6 days, and on the 7th day, I sat on the throne. And Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, he says that this is the end time. So through his announcement, the 7th day started. Now all this can only be understood and realized through knowledge. Without knowledge, we will not understand all these concepts. And this, actually, we are speaking in a very brief manner. Very brief manner. There is a lot more to study and to understand. Bringing it close to us through this Farman, when Imam says that you all are here in front of me, Bhale Abiya. The Jama'at is gathered in front of Imam, and Imam is pleased to see them. Through their sacrifice, they have made it to here in Ismaili Tariqa, in front of Imam. Now, what is the duty which we need to fulfill? Imam in his Farman says that you have come to this world in the form of human. He says in the form of human. But then he says that you have two paths to follow. Path of an animal and path of an angel. And then there's a term, Janwar Numa Insan, meaning a human in a human form, but behaving like an animal. Behaving like an animal. And Imam says these two paths to the Jama'at is available to you all. These two paths, either falling down to become an animal, not that physically we are becoming animal, or we believe in Janam Maran and all that, we don't. We believe in cycles. So those who do not learn from the Farman of Imam, they do not sacrifice, they do not come forward and do not do the bidding of being obedient to the Imam's Faramin, what will happen? They'll fall down to the level of animals. Imam says the whole khalqat is present, including animals. And then he says that the other path is of angels. Meaning, we as individuals have this opportunity given to us in every point in time. We choose every moment we make that choice. Are we going to follow our carnal soul? Are we going to get angry on something which we did not like? Are we going to give in to our worldly desires, being overpowered by worldly desires, worldly wants, or we will be able to fight back? Nobody is saying that we should not live comfortably, happy, and eat what we like, live in a good houses. Nobody is saying that. Please understand. Imam wants us to be happy. Imam wants us to live comfortably in peace, in security, and prosperity. But the heart, it is all about the heart. What does the heart desire? Are we always obsessed with what we have and what we want? Or the heart is purified with the love of Imam? It is a true rahmat. It is a true miracle to be having the love of Imam in our heart. Without the love of Imam, nobody can walk on the path of becoming an angel. Nobody can sacrifice Imam. And we are truly blessed that our parents from very young age taught us love of Imam. It was at the level of blind faith. We did not have knowledge, but even at that blind faith to love Imam, to be having this desire to serve Imam is a huge blessing. Big credit goes to our parents and grandparents who gave that to us. Because without that, how does the journey start? Journey cannot even start. So we have this choice of becoming an angel or falling down the status of animal. And this choice we make every breath. Nobody can say that, I am pious and I become good and now I cannot fall down. We have the example of Azazel in front of us, who elevated to become that, high-ranking angel. But when Adam came into the picture, he refused. He did not obey the farman of the Imam to bow down to Adam. Farman Bardari also comes with knowledge and understanding and ibadat. Why do I say that? Because we have learned from our ginans of our Peer that Azazel had read Kshatri's Karur Kitaba Padhya, but Bhitar Bhed na paya. The secret was he did not learn after reading 3,600,000 books. How many? 3,600,000 books. He was a learned scholar. What did he not learn? To be obedient without using the partial intellect, to be obeying the Farman of the Imam. Because he is complete intellect, he is universal intellect. Every breath we make the choice to remember him or to be occupied with our repeated same thoughts of the worldly things. If we are not able to break through that cycle of repeated thoughts, then we are being enslaved by this carnal soul, animalistic soul, and we are not able to come out. It is very important to realize, to remember actually, to remind ourselves that we have come to this world and tomorrow we have to go and we don't even know what time we are going to go back. It is His mercy how much life He gives. We all have to go. When we go in front of Imam, what are we going to show? What are we going to take with us? And this is not to make anybody uncomfortable, scared, or fearful. Please forgive me, because that is not the intention. The intention is that we all wake up, that we do not become blind and mindless living in this physical world. If we have lost our parents, our grandparents, and we have seen that, when we recall that event, it brings pain to our heart. We have lost somebody. Listening to today in this war events, and people dying, doesn't matter who is dying here or there, they're dying. It gives pain, sorrow to our heart. But does it remind us that I will die too? I have to return back. What will happen to those who I have hurt? Have I, asked for forgiveness? So today, I take this opportunity to ask forgiveness from all of you. That intention is never to hurt. But if I have hurt in any ways, please forgive me. Have we done that? We need to do it because we do not know when our end time will come. That is the first step to acknowledge what we have done, to become aware how mindful or mindless we are. We all have to return. But during the journey, we are taught by the Natik, Prophet Muhammad, Man arfa nafsahu, faqad arfa rabbuhu. There's almost same saying by Maula Ali and the Prophet as well, that the one who recognize themselves, those who recognize themselves will recognize the Lord. So we may learn about, becoming Imam Shinas, recognizing the Imam. And yes, we do need to. But in reality, on the path of knowledge and recognition, what happens, we actually start becoming aware of our own being, our own existence, detached from the roles we have attached to our being: mother, father, sister, husband, wife, child. All those roles are functions, but there's a person there. That person has to return back, regardless of all the roles we are playing in this world. What has happened to that person? What is the earnings that person has collected? Because we all have to return. I can be a good mother, I can be a good wife, good sister, good cousin, good, sister, whatever the roles are. But is that enough? Where have I shown that I love me? In the physical world, we are also taught this concept, but taken to what? Go for fun day or spa or massage or whatnot, right? Here, this gathering is of Mu'mine Salikin, those who are walking on the path of Sirat al-Mustaqim. What is me time for us here? Truly reflect. Truly reflect. This Farman, the way we have studied and we have tried to touch upon all the concepts, just touch. We have come from him and we will return to him. Have we done what we were supposed to do? Have we earned what we had to earn? Because our peers have taught us that you have come to this world, Varanjara, Varanjiruro Karilaju, that you are a traveler, you are a tradesman. Earn profit. It's all about earning profit. Have we done that? Which breath do I fall down and become an animal? Which breath do I remain on the path of becoming an angel? Am I mindful of that? Do I remind myself to do that? If we have come from him and we have to return to him, the biggest miracle of universal soul, creation of the universal soul, nafse wahida. We are so many in numbers. We all have to become one. In order to become one, what is required? Purification of our thoughts and our heart. Mind, yours, all those are thoughts from carnal soul. Carnal soul is the lashkar of shaitan. Through the carnal soul, we remain animals. There are so many lessons. In the journey of the knowledge, a person can be 6 days old, 7 days old, few months old, few years old, and 80 years old, buzrug, with knowledge. Meaning, in Ruhaniyat, if we have been seeking knowledge and working on knowledge, meaning Farman Bardari, actions, ilm or amal, both, knowledge and actions, both are needed. Then there are so many stages in Ruhaniyat one is climbing on. And the more we purify our heart, we attract the light. When there is dirt, it will only attract the bees and mosquitoes and worms and whatnot, right? Animalistic thoughts, animalistic actions will only attract that part only. But if there is purification, desire to purify, doing these actions to take responsibility of how impure we are and becoming pure step by step, doing everything which is needed to become pure with zikr. Because how do we remember? Remembrance is in relation to remind yourself. How do we remind? Through knowledge and zikr. Knowledge is also zikr. By doing the zikr. And when we do learn this knowledge as zikr and realize that how impure we are, then we need to start cleaning it up. And what do we need to do for cleaning? Giriya Uzari. Imam says, Bhale aaya. And Imam says here in this Farman that I have come because my Dada had told me. One can think of, Imam Hasan Ali Shah. But then in another Farman, he says, my Dada, Maula Ali, Dadi, Bibi Fatima. It's actually an Arabic rule which Imam follows in Farmans. So Maula says that my Dada. So who is he referring to? Look at Hazi Imam's Farman. Maula says that I dedicate my life as my grandfather had dedicated to me. Imam is dedicating his life. How about us, his slaves, his murid? Who have we dedicated our lives to? Our children, our family? Yes, it is needed. Physically, dedication to our family is needed. Where is my heart? That's the dedication which we need. And when there is dedication in the heart, sacrifice will come easy. Because without sacrifice, how are we going to be close to Him? It's not possible. Sacrifice is the key concept. Qurbani, qurbani, qurbani. And I will end here because there is so much to reflect here. So do not think of this Farman as a small Farman and it's just talking about historically in that time. Imam has used so many words for us to actually reflect. And each word presents a concept in reality. Concept needs too much of steady reflection, opening up, unfolding to be able to grasp some of the concept within that concept. Shukran lillah walhamdulillah, shukran lillah walhamdulillah.
Subhanallah, subhanallah, subhanallah. The Farman of Maulana Hazar Imam, dedicating his life, it just gives us goosebumps that Maula is sacrificing his life, and we need to look at our lives, that how are we doing in every single task, let that be physically or even our spiritual tasks. And I think in one of your sessions you did remind us of Mullah saying we are spiritual beings walking in this physical world, so we need to remember that and follow through. And the sacrifice is the most important thing which we do for our worldly things, let that be education, for families, and all of those things. So it is a beautiful reminder from this Farman and the explanation that we need to do our pulse check and review where we stand at this point. So subhanallah, subhanallah. Friends, if you have any questions, any comments, any reflections, you can unmute and come forward.
I know there was a lot to reflect on, right?
Yeah, Ji Zaitun Saiba.
Can I ask you something, please?
Sure, please.
In order to understand more and to sacrifice, do we have to learn the Quran more, or where can we get the more knowledge from?
So it's not...
Because like you said,
Yeah, I understand your question. Thank you. By the way, what's your name?
Zaytun.
Zaytun. Subhanallah. Beautiful name from Quran. Zaytun. Look at that. Beautiful.
Yeah,
Subhanallah. So,
thank you.
So it's not about learning Quran. We are not talking about learning Arabic and the verses of the Quran. I mean, it's good. It's not, but if we have limited time, where do you start, right? You should start with the learning of Tawil, the meaning of the Quran. And you can begin from first, our dua is in Arabic, and it is actually from Quran. So the meaning of dua, one is translation and other is meaning of dua. So understanding meaning of dua. But if you are asking the broader question that what do you study, what do you read, I would refer you to the site, smilyliterature.org.com. There are books on the Tawil of Quran. So we need to start with Tawil of Quran. There are very many books published by IIS also, which we need to look into and pick those books which are, on Tawil of the Quran. We have Farmans, we have Ginans, we have prophetic sayings, Hadith. All these literature is there for us to actually study from. You can decide and make an intention that, okay, I will focus on Ginan learning first. And I think we all have started from the, Ginan, because that was our tradition. We all learned Ginans. understanding Ginan, reciting Ginan, meanings of Ginan. But then we do not need to stay with what we know. We need to enrich ourselves because now we've grown and subject has to change. So from Ginan, we can now study Farman. So I know that we've been reading Farman. It's not that we've not been. What we are doing together is trying to go deep into the Faramins. And beautifully, when we study Faramins, what we learn, that Imam is teaching us history, Imam is teaching us prophetic saying, hadith, and Quranic verses. In fact, you know, I totally forgot. I had this Quranic verse. In my flow, I forgot to show you. This is the Quranic verse. And Zaitun, it is due to you, for you. I have two translations because, again, Quran translation is also, you know, another challenge because we don't have good translators, unfortunately. People use their own intellect to translate the words of Quran, and that is why we need the ta'wil. So anyways, I have taken two different translations, and interestingly, it says, this is chapter 39, Surah Zumar, verse 6. He created you in the wombs of your mothers, creation after creation, in a threefold gloom. Such is Allah, your Lord. His is the sovereignty. There is no Allah save him. How then are you turned away? So yes, we all are coming from womb of our mother. But very interestingly, it talks about three darknesses. Three darknesses? What does that mean? What kind of darknesses? And when the child is born, doesn't those darknesses goes away? Because we can understand, okay, in mom's womb, there is mom's womb, there is, that, what do you call it? The layer, which is, the sac which keeps the baby. But then when the baby is out, does the darkness go away? What do we need? We need ta'wil. Because Imam in his Farman said 6 months and 6 days and 8 years. Again, it's about creation. Imam is talking about different levels in people who are creation. So when this Quranic words, when we look at it, it says three darknesses. These three darknesses, Zaitun, relates to darkness at the level of physical, darkness at the levels of soul, and darkness at the level of intellect. Without breaking away from these darknesses, we cannot see the nur. We just cannot see the nur. There's no way possible. And that is why normally what we understand, when one will die, right? Then there'll be asal mein wasal, then they'll be with Imam. Because there is no understanding that death can happen during the lifetime. Because the death which we talk about during the lifetime is a spiritual death. It's a nafsani maut. We call it spiritual death. Not that our soul will die. No. Meaning it's a death of the carnal soul. So there's a blindness or the darkness at the physical level. Very simply put, what do we do with our physical being? We are always working or going after worldly things, reading worldly books and worldly knowledge and worldly progress and prosperity. So physically, using our body, our knowledge, what we have learned from the physical world, to sacrifice, to give our time to our spiritual growth and knowledge learning, right? Physical, removing that physical darkness. At the level of soul, there's a darkness at the level of soul. And what did we do for removing that? We wanted Isme Azam. We went to Imam and we received Isme Azam. Most of us, because this Diamond Jubilee Imam said, oh, come anybody, everybody. And everybody willingly gave commitment. How many of us are keeping the commitment? That's another question. So, Isme Azam, right? And then along with Isme Azam, remembrance throughout the day. And then there is a darkness at the level of intellect. And that's what your question is, Zaitun, about. That how do you remove that darkness which is on our intellect? Because our intellect is partial intellect. So what do we need? We need smiley scholars' books which are written on the ta'wil of the Quran. And in current time, we know that Allama Nasiruddin Hunzai, who became one with Imam during his lifetime. And there are very many books he has written about the ta'wil of Quran. And they are beautiful, explaining as the ta'wil. So if you go to site ismaililiterature.com or you go to monoreality.org, you will find so many books. And if you like Zaytun, we are studying few books in the evenings. The timings would be kind of different for us because we all are in different parts of the world. And when I was reading this Farman and I was relating it to, the way Imam is speaking about the creation and then different ages, it is also talking about different levels of lights, different types of lights, which we are going to study and discuss in our evening session in the Ascent of Soul. Ascent of Soul, we are studying how can the soul progress. And it is all based on Tawili knowledge of Quran. So yes, we have to study Quran, but not the way we see generally people do study Quran, because it's very complicated. We will not understand, we'll be lost, and it's very intimidating even to pick up the Quran in the language we don't even understand, we don't even speak. So we have to start somewhere which we can understand, and we are smileys, we have to pick on the fruits, the wisdoms, and that is in the Tawil. So when we study the books of Tawil, we can realize and we can understand all these darknesses and how to remove these darknesses, use this partial intellect to unite with that complete intellect, which we call universal intellect, during the lifetime, step by step. It is possible for a murid of Imam, Momin of Imam, because it is a Ismaili Momin who walks on the path of Sirat al-Mustaqim, seeks and learns knowledge to become Arif, meaning has the marifat, has the recognition. They are capable of getting there.
Thank you very much. You're very clear. I really enjoyed your session very much.
Shukran. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I do listen to a lot of programs on Zoom.
Shukran.
So I have read on Yali Madad and something else as well, what the meaning was on going to Sirat al-Mustaqim and how many different meanings there are in that, what we say.
So you do need to, if you like, you can join our session of Ascent of Soul and you will enjoy it. If you have read the book Yali Madad, you will really enjoy it.
Where do you do those sessions? I don't know where you come from, which part of the world you're in.
I'm in USA, I'm in Texas.
Okay. I'm in London.
You're in London?
So,
okay.
Yeah.
So our timings may not match. So what you can do, Zaitun, you can contact Naveen. I think she put her number, or Kareem. And if you're not in the group, join the group, so you will gain much more. And you can ask if you have time and you really are willing to sacrifice. There are very many lectures of, this humble slave of Imam, and you can really benefit from it if you're really sincere in wanting to learn and grow.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Shukran. You're most welcome, my dear. Thank you for allowing me that.
Shukran. So, friends, any other friend, if you have questions, comments, you can go ahead and unmute.
Yalimadad, I also put it, just my question is here, if possible, the book link for English language, the Farman book.
This Farman which we are studying?
No, just the Farman, you already put it in PDF in the previous section, I think. All the Farman book of Sultan Muhammad Shah Sahib.
Yeah, but we do not have this Farman in English. I hope you know that. We don't. That's why, yeah. And then there are attempts being made. It's not that there are some attempts, but they are very
short.
Not very good translations, actually. So
yeah, it's very short. I have some of them, but it's very short.
Yeah.
The stuff you are explaining is not over there at all.
So this is the whole book.
Yeah, very small.
Yeah, and that is why, this session was started based on the request of a friend who said that we do not understand Gujarati and we don't have good translation. Can you help us understand? And that's how, we started this session. So you're right, we don't have it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Tell me your name.
My name is Helamuddin.
Salamuddin.
No, Helamuddin.
Huh?
Helamuddin, H-E.
Helamuddin. Okay.
Yes.
And where are you joining from, Elamuddin?
From Canada, Toronto.
Canada. Welcome here, welcome.
Thank you.
Shukr.
And I have a question here, but I think you are explaining about some stuff from Wajid Pir Nasir Khisraw. How do you explain that there is a verses over there in Wajid is saying takfirun farzun kafirun and takfirun sunnatun mal'unun. So how do you explain this stuff?
My brother, my Arabic is not as good as yours, but I understand, you know, you're talking about the role of shaitan. I understand that. And in relation to forgiveness and whatnot. You will have to share with me the discourse number and I can study and we can talk about it.
Okay.
Okay, so you got
Okay,
the
I'm going to put on the link problem.
Okay, and you can actually contact Nachis directly or Naveen Saba directly. You will have her contact. So if you send your number and we can have a chat about that. Remember that our so it's very interesting. This makes us beautiful, right? That you do not know about these Faramins and the Jama'at from Indo-Pak. They will know the Farman, but they will not know the Wajidin the way you would know because you can read Arabic or Persian, right? Or even
Yeah, we can read it, yeah.
yeah. So it's a
But the
beautiful.
Tawil is difficult, you know, to explain the Tawil of Wajid is very tough.
Yeah, because it is based on Sharia, right? It is
Yeah,
Sharia.
it's based on Sharia, yeah.
It is based, so it's very difficult for us. I agree with you, absolutely. Yeah. You really have to break down and make it simplified, easier, and then can understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So friends, if you have any other questions, any other comments or reflections, you can come forward.
Ijazat din, Naveen Sahiba.
Ji, thank you so much, Niamat, for beautiful session. Thank you, friends, for joining. And I have put the link to join the group and my number is on the chat. So if friends have any questions or for prior recordings, you can reach me and inshallah, we can get together. Thank you so much again. Yali Madad, Niamat Saiba.
Yali Madad, Yali Madad. Thank you.
Yali Madad.
Yali Madad, brother. Yali Madad.
Yali Madad.
Yali Madad, Yali Madad.
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 Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Zaitun. Yali Madad.